And welcome to Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. I'm Steve Swatt with the Sacramento Report. In the next few minutes, we're going to talk about water, the drought, and high-speed rail. Three favorite subjects of my guest, Andy Vidak, who is a member of the State Senate from Hanford in the Central Valley. Thank you very much for being here.
Glad to be here as always.
So I want to ask you about President Obama's visit to Fresno, the greater Fresno area. He came to Fresno, talked about the drought. He talked about a program of offering $100 million, I believe it was, for livestock producers that hurt by the drought. Also some conservation grants, things like that. Also, he wants some flexibility and how the water is sort of managed in the Central Valley project to help out some of the farmers and things like that. Most Republicans, you're a Republican down there, were not impressed. What's your take?
Well, I'm glad that he came. It brought the spotlight, and to have the president in our district and in our Central Valley and in our state is a big, big deal. But sadly, he was only there for 3 hours, and about an hour of that was transit time and helicopters, and he needed to spend a good 2-3 days. I'd love to have him be there for about 2 weeks and actually see the devastation and the hardship and the people that are really, really hurting from this drought and this lack of management.
Well, a lot of people in Northern California wished he'd come to Northern California also, because there are issues up in Northern California, and the president's time is pretty valuable. I want to ask you, though, about, you have competing measures in Congress right now dealing with the drought. You have a Republican measure sponsored by some of the folks in the Valley that
that are impacted most.
That are impacted, and from the farmer aspect. And you have a Senate version sponsored by Democrats. Given the polarization in Congress, would you expect a conference committee to come up with anything?
Well, political, it shouldn't be political. Common sense has no party lines, and the bill that came out of the House from Congressman Nunes, McCarthy, and Valadao, that one was actual help. I mean, it was actually going to do something. Our senators they passed something that just highlights the powers that the federal and state government already have. And there's people really, really hurting, and we had to have some relief.
That bill probably, though, is DOA in the Senate.
Well, they've still got it. They've got to put those two together, hopefully, and hopefully they come to some sort of compromise. But I'll tell you what, that bill coming out of the House is the one that can help folks.
Are you working on a water bond?
I am.
I mean, there are a couple of proposals out there. As we all know, several years ago, there was an $11 billion water bond proposed for the statewide ballot. It was pulled off, too expensive. It included $3 billion for water storage. What is your bond going to look like?
Well, mine and Senator Canella's is very, very close to that. But what we did is we looked at, I've got the 3 C's in there. If it didn't create water storage, if it didn't clean water, and if it didn't convey water, then we pulled it out of the old bond. And so we got it down to a little over $9 billion. We need a water bond passed. We've had, since 2000, we've had 5 waterless water bonds passed in Sacramento. That doesn't make sense. So we actually have to have surface storage in this, and that's a big part of ours. Governor
Brown, there are some speculation that Governor Brown doesn't want a water bond on the ballot because that would increase our indebtedness, and he doesn't want more debt.
Well, he's rolling straight ahead with this train, which is going to indebt us for our great grandchildren, and that just doesn't make sense to me. We need to go straight at this water bond. We need to have water. We're going to lose over $5 billion in the Central Valley from lost agricultural and all the related businesses. It makes a lot of sense to go forward with this water bond and try to help create more water.
Okay, well, we're out of time, and I know you wanted to also talk about high-speed rail, but we have no time left in this segment. But Andy Vidak, thank you very much for coming by and talking about drought and water issues. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thanks to our viewers also for watching Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. Reminder, you can see this and other interviews on My Government On Demand, also on YouTube. Have a great day.